Now we're going to turn it over to Zach Hollenbeck to tell us about a couple of projects that are pretty big projects that are happening in Ellicott City. So Zach?
Well, thanks so much for the intro, and Ron, quite a project there. Yeah, I was a sounding board occasionally for Ron throughout that project, and I'm really uh, just just an exquisite project. So congratulations there. Alrighty, so Vicki mentioned at the start, I'm Zach Hollenbeck. I'm with the Howard County Department of General Services. We were formerly part of the Howard County Department of Public Works prior to a reorganization of county government last July. And so our group is responsible for planning, design, construction, operations, and maintenance at all county buildings except for the school system. And so I've been there since 2018, worked as a project manager and a mid-level manager at executing a lot of projects. And so I'm thrilled to talk to you today about the adaptive reuse of the former Circuit Courthouse, which sits atop Capitoline Hill, and so is now affectionately referred to as the Capitoline Center. Let's go ahead, Dan. So this is a really, very unique structure. Many of you, I'm sure, have been there over the years. Probably few people by choice. Uh, Many of you summoned for jury duty or whatnot, but it's a fascinating look at how the evolution of Howard County has mandated or required an evolution in this building. And so we have an 1843 section that was originally the original portion of Howard County of the courthouse, even before Howard County was Howard County, expanded in 1938, and then a large addition in 1988, which really reoriented the entirety of the building and swallowed up the 1842 Oaklawn building within that 1988 edition. Uh, some of you may know my former coworker and friend Dan Bennett, who was responsible for the 1988 edition. And one of the things that I always point out is that Dan had a giant satirical cartoon hanging in his office where the Baltimore Sun superimposed a lemon on his 1988 edition and accused him of really just totally disorienting the building by giving it two front entrances. So anyway, that's the Dan always found that funny. Me growing up here in Ellicott City and being in my 40s, I've only known what we call the entrance off the 1988 side to really be the entrance of the building. Go ahead, Ann. So we really also have this very unique, of course, situation here where we sort of sit above the hill of Main Street, parking lot beyond, and so many people have walked past these steep slopes and traversing from the courthouse parking lot when you've given up all hope of finding a reasonable parking space anywhere else, and getting your steps in and going back and forth between what we affectionately call the eat dessert lot. Pretty unique section looking through the building here. We have 9 distinct floor levels throughout the building. Next, please. And so, how do we get from owning this building and having the building vacant and to where we are today? And so, there was 2014 through 2016 an effort to try to expand and locate the court at this site, and it was deemed by the county at that time to be infeasible just because of the needs of the court had expanded so much, from our as our population had grown. So the real guiding principles for this site were contained within the Ellicott City Watershed Master Plan that was adopted by the Howard County Council in 2020, and that included a number of policies for this area. Most, of course, all with the idea to complement and enhance Ellicott City. So building upon that, we did a targeted community engagement as part of our Ellicott City Project Advisory Group that we had for a few years, and really tried to help hone in on what uses the public would like to see at the site. And so most notably, that included civic uses, cultural programming, historic elements, but also notably included a strong opposition to having housing located at the site. Next, please. And so, building on the theme of all for the love of history, that was also, of course, guided with this being a very significant building in Howard County from the formation of Howard County through having the cupola that sits high above the hills of Ellicott City and its reference to history, and then having the original courtroom for Howard County within that space, although it being largely stripped of any character defining details through numerous renovations over the years. Next, please. So from that targeted community engagement, again, really wanting to make sure that we kept the building in the public domain with the very important history elements that I mentioned, we looked at programs that we could locate within that space and in order to be complementary to Ellicott City. So one of the things that has been discussed for a number of years is that there is no state arts and entertainment district within Howard County, and how can we bring other arts and cultural uses to the historic Ellicott City area to pursue a state arts and entertainment district designation, which would then open the up for additional grant opportunities for some of our community organizations. And so looking through that, we made the decision to locate the Center for the Arts, which was previously off Rogers Avenue on High Ridge Road, a new initiative of the county, which is AAPI, or Asian American Pacific Islander Cultural Center. We, of course, have a huge 60,000 person plus AAPI identifying citizens in Howard County. And then also to relocate our roving radish food program from its home in Columbia and couple that with a shared kitchen space that would build on policies in the watershed master plan for creative food establishments. Next, please. So some of you had been through the building before, have probably seen spaces like this. When we started this project, the court had moved and we were left with belongings that the court didn't want anymore, but as well as a lot of low ceilings, gray on gray color scheme throughout, and a lot of fixtures that were of the time of the 1980s edition. Next, please. But we were met with some unique opportunities, like having the 1842 Oak Lawn building sort of surrounded in this structure, so we could take advantage of looking at the beauty of some of the old granite stone that was inboard to our building and take advantage of natural light that was also available to spaces through skylights, even though the floor plate of the building is somewhat challenging to get natural light everywhere. Next, please. Exterior of the building, of course, this is, like I mentioned before, the 1988 entrance, which I think most people call the entrance to the building. Next, please. And so we worked with early on. We reached out to several design teams to try to find a partner to work with us on the design for this project. We were fortunate to select Michael Graves, at that time known as Walden Studios, now Walden Studios, a Michael Graves company, local Columbia design firm, project manager Krista Kerrigan, who's just a fantastic local Ellicott City resident as well, worked with us, and we knew we wanted to be design forward on this project. We didn't want to be see a blue and gray typical government building. This is a center, as we coined it before, the Capitoline Center, a center for arts, culture, and history. And so how do we reflect that with finishes that are contemporary to bring vibrancy within the building and to really expand upon that theme and marry it with the existing bones that we have. Next, please. So these are some more images that the design team put together, worked with a really bold color palette for interior accents. And the design team assembled a lot of natural woods, lighter finishes, but building upon some things like keeping brass hardware throughout the building, which it had from the last edition. Next, please. And building upon that, locating the program elements throughout the building, this being the main level here, and building upon opportunities for how do we orient people to this building that really had a very rigid definition of public spaces from spaces that were part of the court functions, where judges or other members of the court function moved about freely outside of, if you were there for a trial or there for jury duty. So one of the big moves that we did immediately in planning this building was to create a central corridor that took advantage of the views to the Oak Lawn building right from entering the space on every floor. Next, please. And then the same thing on the second floor, where there were previously courtrooms in the 1988 edition, opening that up to be a black box theater for our friends at the Howard County Arts Council, a dance studio, art galleries, and then preserving the shape and form of the historic courtroom one to be a community room so that that space can be accessible for community events as as the need presents itself. We also turned all the large former judges' chambers into art studios, take advantage of natural light into those spaces. Several of those art studios near the bottom right side of the plan here have a lovely view of David and Charles's project that you're going to hear more about in just a couple of minutes. Next, please. And then on the ground level, again, taking advantage of natural light to incorporate more art studios as well as art classrooms that are in areas that don't have natural light. Next, please. And so our design team took all of the inspiration photos that we showed you a moment ago here. And the one of the things that we did early on in this project is before we really got into interior demolition work is we took down all of the ceilings to do an extensive study of what was up there structure wise to make sure that before we envision these large approaches that we could do so within the limitations of the structure, since there was limited information on that available. This is a rendering of the lobby level. If you're able to come to the grand opening next weekend, you'll see this more or less complete from what it looks like now. Again, incorporating natural wood elements and helping us really bring new light into that space where you're previously purposely wedged in to move through the metal detector and scanner. Next, please. And so then on level 2, we kept a number of the existing bones like the railings and these atrium spaces that were open, but again, cut through this large corridor right through the middle of the building with wood ceiling accents and vibrant colors to really bring a new life to this space. And so the second story corridor here feeds to the art gallery spaces as well as a black box. Next, please. And then we'll be building upon this over the next few months on the grounds, and you'll start to see some additional transformation with exterior lighting to activate spaces that were previously passive to support the functions that are in the building, like you see here. Next, please. And then the front of the building, we're fortunate to have support to build a front plaza area in the coming months. And we're working through the HPC approvals for that, as well as build this small addition on the front of the building to help define the entry and bring new life and show that there's new program within this building by incorporating colorful column and new signage. Next, please. Well, any good project like this would not be complete without its fair share of challenges. And rather than spend 3 hours today talking about all of those challenges, I put one here to kind of give you the biggest one that we had to deal with, which was we have of the 1843 area courthouse, we had significant rot and deterioration in the roof structure for that, and we had to incorporate shoring. So we knew going on, we had some issues up there. We had done an analysis. We knew we had some issues. I think that none of us knew how bad the issues were until we got in and started poking around. So we ended up with shoring towers throughout the building for many months on end. Design teams, specialty contractors using specialty materials to repair these wood trusses and allow the weight to stand firmly on the granite walls for another 100 years to come or more. Really, the culprit for this was that the wood trusses sat directly on the stone with no moisture break there. Next, please. Well, this is quite a challenging endeavor for the county to undertake, and we're grateful that we have support from a number of funding partners to make this project a reality. including the Maryland State Arts Council, the Maryland Heritage Areas Authority, Department of Housing and Community Development at the state level through their programs in the Community Legacy Program, Maryland Historical Trust, who has supported restoration of some of our exterior window elements, National Park Service Save America Treasures Program, which is supporting restoration of our cupola, American Rescue Plan, or ARPA, which supported extensive HVAC improvements to the building, Maryland Department of General Services through their legislative bond initiatives, which have supported many components of the building, and the Howard County government, which has also provided a significant amount of capital to this project. Next, please. Program-wise, we're excited for you all to see the completed spaces that our Howard County Arts Council has occupied for the last few weeks and has been getting settled into, and to see the spaces that will be programmed in the coming months by the Recreation and Parks staff, which will be administering the AAPI Cultural Center. Later, some point next year, we're hopeful that you'll be able to stop by and pick up your local meal kits from the county's roving radish program as that component's built out. I touched on that some of the program, some of the support that we've got. There's a lot of future scope that will happen here, and I'll just sum it up saying that one of the things that we're looking forward to the most here is building a legacy historic exhibit in this space with partnership from the Howard County Historical Society, and that's directly supported by the Maryland Heritage Areas Authority. Next, please.
That's your last slide, Zach.
Okay, that's good. Very good.
Yep, thank you.
So I wanted to sincerely thank everyone for their time and listening to this and joining us today. I know we got a huge crowd, and so I look forward to the panel discussions and to David and Charles's presentation.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Zach. This is a very exciting addition to Ellicott City and Howard County in general. And I know that having that upper parking lot is always a challenge for people visiting, but this is going to make it really exciting to park up there, I think, because you'll be able to be up there for a wonderful reason. And I'm sure certainly the Arts Council is extremely excited about this new location. So thanks for all your hard work on this and your continued work in Ellicott City. Thank you. It's much appreciated.